Hey boys, welcome back to the channel where we are going to be previewing and giving. I'm going to be giving my tips on round 2 of the NRL, and hopefully we can do a little bit better than round 1. You know, we got a little bit of info now. We can sort of see how teams are lining up this year. So, you know, hopefully we can pick it up again. But Thursday night, another hopefully good game. Last Thursday, round 1, I was expecting a good contest. It was not really at all. But Storm v Rabbits. Now, I think Storm are going to go into this pretty heavily favourites, though they do lose quite a number. I mean, Brandon Smith, George Jennings, Christian Welsh. I mean, Christian Welsh and Brandon Smith, massive losses. George Jennings, you know, it's a decent loss, but they definitely have decent cover for him. And then and Bronson Garlick drops out as well. But the inclusion of Cameron Munster, Harry Grant, Jesse Bromwich, Chris Lewis comes in, and Dean Aramia, who was a very good outside back. I like him quite a lot. They lose some stuff, but they get quite a number of troops back, and it's going to help their attack tenfold. You know, I'm expecting big things from Grant, and especially Munster this year. I think he's going to have a really big year. Rabbits, on the other hand, Latrell Mitchell obviously comes back in. It's honestly, obviously the Latrell inclusion is huge regardless, but it's doubly big because it means it just fixes up their team a lot. I still don't like Jackson Paulo in the centres. I don't think he's good enough to be a centre. Obviously, Johnston moves to the wing, which is good. Tane Milne keeps his spot. You know, Mansour wasn't great, so it does make sense. But Tane Milne also wasn't. He was solid. He was solid, but defensively he can come up with not the best read. So I'm tipping the. I mean, simple as that. I'm tipping the Storm in this. I was sort of trying to, you know, talk up the Rabbitohs a little bit, but I just can't see the Rabbitohs bouncing back enough to beat the Storm in round 2 here. I think the Storm are going to win 13 plus. You know, just all across the park. It's a great team. They obviously are missing a couple of big names, but yeah, the Rabbitohs, I think they're going to be a lot better, without doubt. They'll be a heck of a lot better. They still have a very strong forward pack, but nah, they're just out wide the Storm. I think are going to trouble them quite a bit. You know, the Broncos created enough chances, but just didn't have the polish on it to really finish off a lot of those half chances. The Storm are going to finish off those chances, so I don't expect an upset. I know round 1 was full of upsets. I just don't see it happening in that one. Next up, we have the Dragons Panthers. So this is Moses Leota is gone, and Aaron Woods are gone. There's a lot of inclusions for both sides. I feel like that's more just the extended bench, right? Yeah, they're all on like the extended bench. The teams are pretty much the exact same. It looks like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Dragons will be good, and the Panthers still don't have Cleary, so it is still a big loss. But I just, the way the Panthers performed in round 1, their defense is still, you know, the defense is still best in the league, up there, best in the league for sure. And losing Cleary, he is a very good defender for sure, but they're still going to have that defensive resolve, and I can just see a little bit more points out of them than the Dragons. The Dragons have some. Don't get me wrong, I think the Dragons can trouble them at times. I mean, Tyrell Sloan, very, very exciting. And then the centre pairing of Sully and Lomax I like a lot as well. But yeah, it's a bit hard to go past the Panthers in this one. I don't expect a blowout. I think it'll be a close game. I don't. You know, a lot of people were talking down about the Dragons to start the year or before the season, but I think they're going to show up, and I am definitely tipping the Panthers in this one as we move on to the Roosters Sea Eagles. Oh, this is now this is a doozy of a game. Both teams were very ordinary. I would say the Roosters were worse. Maybe, I don't know. I think I was expecting a lot more from the Roosters. The Sea Eagles, you sort of know that they can produce some pretty bad performances. Look at the Roosters 15th, the Sea Eagles 16th. I mean, you love to see it, don't you? You love to see that. just keep that for the end of the year. That'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it? But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But yeah, the Roosters. I think the Roosters were more disappointing. Just the fact that they should have been a lot better. The Sea Eagles as well, but they were versing the reigning premiers just without Cleary. And I thought there were some signs there potentially. This is tough. I don't think there's any real changes. Again, everyone sort of is just moving into the extended bench. I'm gonna tip the Roosters, and actually, I think the Roosters are gonna have a big bounce back. I'll go 13 plus in this one for the Roosters. I think they're gonna come fired up. They were very ordinary, and I just feel like, again, like out wide they can trouble them. Through the middle, I think they can trouble them. I just don't think the Sea Eagles, they're just slacking a little bit in a couple of spots. And yeah, Drew Hutchison, was he might be a new inclusion. Was he wasn't the 14 last game. Who was the 14? Or was it him? Maybe it was. I can't remember. But regardless, that's pretty much the same. Dylan Walker actually comes into the 14. Who was the 14 for them? It was Koala, who looked very exciting, but obviously you would rather have Dylan Walker in the 14. Just provides a little bit more. Koala probably maybe deserves a centre spot over Harper or Parker, but he's sticking strong at the moment. We'll see, but yeah, I'm expecting the Roosters to really bounce back, and the Sea Eagles, I can see them going on a run without doubt. They'll go on like a big winning streak, but I can't see it happening in this one. Next up, we have the Titans v Warriors. So again, two teams coming off losses. The Titans, I would say the Titans were unlucky. I thought they played pretty well. Defensively, again, not the strongest team in the comp, but they were taking on one of the better attacking teams, and they went toe-to-toe with the Eels, and, a couple of calls go their way, and they could have definitely won that game. The Warriors coming off a pretty poor loss, I would say, to the Dragons. Sean Johnson is gone. The young fella Valia is gone, so Jesse Arthurs comes in for him. Reece Walsh comes back into the starting lineup with Harris Savita switching to the halves with Ash Taylor. Was Taylor the? Oh, so Nikorima's gone altogether. That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, Jazz Tavanga. Tavanga definitely is a good utility, but I feel like, I honestly feel like Tavanga could just be another reserve, play in the middle, play a lot of positions. I think Nikorima is like your perfect number 14 or whatever number, but he's your perfect sort of X factor to come on and, play dummy half or play as sort of another sort of 5'8" or something like that. Like I feel like that would be better, but obviously he wasn't happy with his performance and he's straight out of the team. So yeah, some big changes. Obviously the inclusion of Reece Walsh is very exciting. This should be a good game. There should be some points. I'm tipping the Titans. I can't go past the Titans. I think their form was pretty good. I think Brimson comes back into the team, which is great to see. I thought he was maybe out for another week, but nah, he comes straight in. Looks like Corey Thompson is still gone, so it's bad, but it's good. Like I said, like Thompson, you wouldn't drop him because he's one of the better wingers in the comp. Like he's so underrated. He's very, very good. But Greg Marju he's on another level. Like you can't leave him out. He's Brian Toto exactly, in my opinion. So Marju retains the spot, which is good to see. I thought he must have got... I don't know what happened to him on that game. He definitely went off at some point, but good to see him back up. The forward pack's the same. Matt Lodge comes back in to the Warriors team. So I mean they're both good forward packs. It's hard to sort of split them there, but I just feel like the Titans, I think they just have a little bit more. And I think they played a lot better than the Warriors in round one. So I'm tipping the Titans in this one. It should be it could be another Titans v Eels of round one, like a 30-34 type scoreline again. So that should be a triathlon without doubt. Then we have the Sharks v Eels. So the Sharks obviously losing against the Raiders. There were some signs there for them. You know, they had their moments. They had their moments where they could have won that game. But yeah, new combinations, new halves pairing. So it's going to take a little bit of time. The team who comes in, there's a couple of changes. Actually, no, it's the same. There are a couple of... I still do not like their bench at all. Cameron McInnes comes onto the extended bench, so we could see him potentially come back in, but I doubt it. I think he's a couple of weeks away from reports, but other than that, it's pretty much the same team. And then the Eels lose a couple. Ryan Madison is gone and Sean Russell is gone. So Wanga Blake moves to the wing, which is interesting. Yeah, that's a little surprising that you'd put sort of your... I mean, he's sort of their go-to man out wide. I mean, Penasini is an absolute beast as well, but Wanga Blake on the wing, I mean, he's a big winger now. He's going to make some good grounds out of their own end. Tom Opicic has done a good job for a long time. He's pretty underrated himself. So he comes straight in. He'll do the job. Forward pack, Oregon Kaufusi comes into the starting lineup. Nathan Brown he's the number 17, so that's a little bit surprising. So Nathan Brown is fit. Thank God they've dropped Jake Arthur. Thank God. Like, just for God's sakes, why was he even on why was he in the team? But yeah, he's gone. But it's a bit... I mean, he is coming back from injury, but it's weird that if he's fit, he wouldn't start. I mean, Oregon Kaufusi is a good player, but yeah, I guess they're easing him into it and comes off the bench, plays 50 odd minutes. It's probably pretty pretty much the same as starting and doing the same thing. So I think it's a strong Eels team. Couple of losses, but they do bring Brown back in. So I'm tipping the Eels in this one. I don't think the Sharks can beat them. I think I'm still undecided about the Hines and Moylan combination. Maybe it will eventually click and that they'll be good. I personally don't think so, but I don't think it's going to happen against the Eels. Although, the Eels, the Eels are a funny team. They're a funny team. Then we have the Cowboys v Raiders. Oh man. So Jermaine Tennell-Brown is gone. I think he did his hammy or something. So let's have a quick gander here. Tom Dearden, Chad Townsend keep their spots. I get that you start with them. It's probably a little harsh to drop someone after round one, but they didn't look like they were gonna score. They're versing the Bulldogs, who were also terrible. And I don't even think the Bulldogs' defense was that good. So, the Cowboys just didn't look like scoring against a very poor side that defensively weren't that good anyway. So, Drinkwater has to come into this team. I guess he's just, again, Payton just thinks he knows better than anyone else, I guess, and is just trying to he's just trying to force his team into existence, with I just don't understand. I don't understand at all. With Tennell-Brown off, Jordan McLean comes into the starting lineup. which you don't like to see because McLean is also rubbish. Colin Hess gets in the starting lineup. He's got Tamalolo starting at lock. Is that going to happen? Who knows? I mean, he should be playing lock. He should be playing 60-plus minutes at lock. Everybody knows this but Todd Payton. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. The bench is the same except Griffin Neem comes in, who was very, very good in the trials. So I'm excited to see him go. It's disappointing that Granville is the 14 because Granville is also a hindrance. He provides some good energy and he has the odd game where he does some good stuff, but he's just not that good. I don't like Granville at all, and I think they'd be better off. They'd be so much better off if they just didn't play him and played Robson for bigger minutes. On the flip side, who's out? Yeah, Brad Schneider. He's gone with I think COVID, so that's terrible. Very, very annoying. And Hodgson is I don't think it was a serious injury, but he's gone for a couple of weeks, I think. Who comes into the Matt Frawley comes into the 7. So I mean, he's not a world beater, but he can steer the ship around. Honestly, it's not a bad sort of depth replacement. The rest of the team is pretty much standard. I don't know who this guy is. Trevelyan? Not sure. We have... It's a bit surprising. So Sebastian Chris, it looks like he's fit now, but Schiller maintains his position on the wing with Valame getting the center spot. I think Schiller was named as center last week, but Valame ended up playing there. Honestly, Valame has sort of come on pretty well over the short period of time. I've been pretty impressed with him lately. I'm tipping the Raiders. I know I keep talking about the game, but the Raiders are going to win this one. I can't see the Cowboys doing much. They are playing at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, so that is an advantage, but also the Cowboys, I don't know. I don't even know if the Cowboys like playing there in the humid weather, so is it even an advantage at this point? But yeah, I'm tipping the Raiders 13 plus on that one. Then we have the Knights v Tigers, another interesting game. Obviously the Knights coming off a big win against the Roosters. The West Tigers going down, valiantly against the Storm. Very hard to sort of read that because the Storm still won and won pretty comfortably without some big names. So I it's hard to sort of gauge. The Knights, it looks like Daniel Saifidi is back, or he's on the extended bench. The rest of their team is pretty much the same. Phoenix Crossland, was he the 14? Yeah, I think he was the 14 last time. But other than that, it's pretty much the same team. I keep saying it, but the halves pairing has impressed me quite a bit. Look on paper, it's not like it's not a really great team on paper. Clifford and Clune in the halves. Tuala, Dominic Young, Chris Randall. The forward pack is pretty good, but it's not a team on paper you're like, wow, this is a team that should win. But they I don't know, they're working well together. So I'm tipping the Knights in this one. I just think the confidence with beating the Roosters so impressively, surely they continue that form for at least a little bit. And then the Tigers, I think they'll, I don't know, like the Hastings Brooks combo, I don't know. They do have some nice outside backs. Dane Laurie is a gem. David Nofaluma, Mamalo. They got a good back three. And then the forward pack, I've said it a number of times as well. They got some very good young forwards. Udakamanu, Talangi, Leilua. There's some good stuff there, but yeah, I've got to tip the Knights in this one. I just think their form was pretty good, and it's hard to sort of see them losing. And then we have the Broncos v Bulldogs. So, straight up, I'm tipping the Bronx. They beat They beat the Rabbits in round 1. Now I don't think this is going to be an easy game. It's again, it's a weird one because the Bulldogs won. Like, I personally think they were pretty terrible as well as the Cowboys, but they got the job done. And you never know. Every time, especially the last few years anyway, when the Broncos versus a team, I'm never that confident. Years and years ago, it was great and I was confident, but last couple of years have hurt me badly, so I'm never that confident. But I gotta tip my Broncos in this one. I mean, Tessie New actually comes back into the fullback spot, which is exciting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Azarko was pretty good. He's a very good player, Azarko. I've said it a number of times that he can be as good as anyone on his day, but I think Tessie is, he's a player. Tessie is quite the player. The back line is good. I like it a lot. Katoni Staggs, Farnworth, Cobbo, even Corey Oates, it's good. Adam Reynolds comes back in to partner Albert Kelly. And personally, there's definitely been a lot of talk that Walters should have partnered Reynolds. I don't know. I think Kelly deserved the 6. I think he played really well last year. I think he hasn't done too much wrong to start the year. I think he deserved the spot, and I'm assuming, Billy Walters. Yeah, Billy Walters is on the bench. He's a very good utility. He can come on and play dummy half. He can play in the halves if there's an injury. So I like Walters on the bench, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, it's he probably deserved a spot as well, but it's just what it is. It's a good team now. Kobe Hetherington comes back in as well. So I mean, this is full strength, I think. This is a strong team, dude. And then the Bulldogs, it looks like Pengai comes back in. He was sort of a late scratching in round 1, so Pengai comes back in. The back line, Averillo maintains that halfback spot. They need a half. I mean, that's what everyone's been saying, but Averillo is not a halfback. Back 5 is the same. The forward pack is basically the same except for Pengai Jr. So you never know, and I'm never like I keep saying, but the Broncos on paper, this is a team that they should win this game. Let's be real. Actually, the only omission is Thomas Flegler's still gone for a couple of weeks with suspension, but Keenan was very good in round 1. So I like this Broncos team a lot. I think it should do some good stuff, and I'm definitely tipping the Bronx in that one. So that was actually the last game. I thought there was another one to go, but that's my tips for round 2. Let me know in the comments section what you guys are tipping. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.